Welcome to Board Gems. In this video, I'm comparing two versions of the Spiel des Jahres winner Camel Up, designed by Steffen Bogen and published by Eggert Spiel. On the left is the original 2014 edition. This is the edition that won the Spiel des Jahres. This is, of course, the English edition from Z-Man Games. And now we have the second edition, which came out 2018. The original styling of Camel Up suggested that its name was Camel Cup. It was quite clear from the rulebook and back of the box that it is intended to be Camel Up, but Camel Cup makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Especially because the expansion was called Super Cup. So yeah, it's a cup that the camels are competing in, okay? It's Camel Cup! Except it's not, and they cleared up that ambiguity in the second edition. The 2014 edition was made in Germany, 2018 edition made in China, which makes sense because the 2018 edition has a lot of plastic, and I don't think there is a single drop of plastic in the original edition. And you can tell from the production that the box for the Chinese-made edition is glossier than the made in Germany edition. You can see it shows a gameplay state on the back of the original box, and in the newer edition they kind of zoom in on a couple of parts that they think you might find appealing. The original Made in Germany edition had a pretty simple cardboard insert with a big well. Second edition has a plastic insert and has wells to store everything just so. The original's rulebook on the front page had a big diagram explaining how to put together the incredible cardboard engineering of the original pyramid. It's a single folded sheet. Pretty clear. It has different colors for different actions, helps keep things neat and tidy. The 2018 edition has more detail because it's actually a little bit more involved than the other one. So instead of being 4 pages, it's now 6 pages. Looks a little more complicated because it is a little more complicated. I have to show you the second edition board. Look at that. It's a pop-up board. It's got this palm tree that just pops up when you unfold the board. Very cool. I suppose it could be in the way of 1 or 2 players. Here they are side by side. The original had a pretty plain square racetrack. Looks a little more natural in the newer edition. And for a game that plays up to 8 players, I generally prefer a larger board so everybody can feel closer to the action. Although it wasn't a huge deal for Camel Up because even when you're sitting a little bit far away, it's very easy to see the game state. The camels were wooden in the first edition and plastic in the second. You'll see they're a little bit smaller in the second edition. You'll notice the original ones were more wavy, and the newer ones are a little bit more, I don't know how to describe it, but a little bit more even. That's because when you stack them, the originals you can only stack one way, and that's forward. And that's the way the game is played. All the camels are going in the same direction. It is possible with the second edition's camels that you can actually have them facing the other way and they still stack. And that is a part of the new edition because it comes with these 2 extra camels called crazy camels, which go in reverse direction. So the idea is that they can pick up camels and carry them backwards on the track. In general, I like games with more chaos. They're more fun. In practice, I didn't find that they did a whole lot. They didn't have much of an impact in the game. They added rules, and those rules had exceptions that make the game just not quite as intuitive to play. What I'm surprised is they made this the default. They could have easily just had it as a free expansion that comes in the box. Play the normal way, and then if you want to mix it up, you can throw in these camels. But the rule book in the second edition suggests that you would always play with the crazy camels. A decision I disagree with. Dice are wooden and larger in the first edition, smaller and plastic in the second edition. It also comes with an extra die, which has white and black numbers, and this is for the previously mentioned crazy camels. Basically, if you roll a white value on the gray die, you move the white camel, black value, move the black camel. Because you still only move 5 camels every leg of the race, it means that there's always 1 camel which doesn't move. And if that's the same camel in multiple legs, then that becomes a really easy bet on who's going to lose the race because, yeah, they're not going to catch up. The original pyramid die pooper was a modern engineering marvel. Made entirely of cardboard, you have to put it together, but there are detailed instructions in the rulebook. It is a fancier plastic die pooper in the second edition. Let's see how they work. So in the first edition's pyramid, you hold the cardboard button, I'm not sure what to call it, so it exposes the hole. Then you put all the dice in, shake it up, turn it upside down. There's a nice little maze on the back. It's a nice little detail. I like that, a labyrinth or something. And then while it's on the ground, you push it down, you push the lever, let go of the lever, and voila, a single die has been pooped. And the newer plastic contraption works basically the same way, except you drop in all the dice, put on the lid, and then you have to shake it upside down. They don't randomize very well if you don't do this. You hold the pyramid above the table and press the button, and a die drops down. Unlike the older one, actually, you can't poop a die while the pyramid is sitting on the table. No die comes out because it gets caught in the mechanism. These are the tiles that you claim when you're betting on which camel will do well in a particular leg of the race. So there's 3 tiles, values 2, 3, and 5 in each of the 5 camels. The second edition actually comes with 4, so there's an extra 2. It's good for when there are more players. These tiles don't run out as quickly. Doesn't really make a big difference though, because the extra tile is just a very small bet. And the Camel Up first edition expansion, Super Cup, comes with an extra 2 value betting tile in each of the 5 camels, which again makes it better for larger numbers of players. These are tiles you claim when you choose to poop a die and move a camel. By way of thanks, you get 1 coin at the end of the leg, and you get this tile to mark that you're getting a coin at the end of the leg. What I think interesting is that the first edition's tiles are exactly the same size as the original's camel betting tiles. And in second edition, they decided to just make them a completely different size altogether. I'd be interested to hear the explanation behind why they did that, why they felt it was necessary. On the bottom left and bottom right are start player markers, and in the middle is money. First edition's money was cardboard for the 1s and the 5s, and also came with playing cards for values 10s and 20s. Second edition comes with plastic coins, only 1s and 5s, but they come with more 1s and 5s than the original. I've come close to running out in second edition though. With the 20s, I've never run out in the first edition. These are the backs of the playing cards. There are 8 characters for the 8 possible players that can play, and each character has 5 cards showing each of the 5 camels, which you use to bet on whether a camel will win or lose the race. Interestingly, the second edition has gender parity, 4 women, 4 men. One thing I would like to note is, in the first edition's cards, the backs of the cards are very obviously the backs. Whereas if you have a look at the backs of the cards on the right for second edition, and we flip them over to see the camels, it has happened in games of the second edition where people have put down a betting card and they put it face up by accident because the fronts and the backs of the cards aren't distinctive enough. I guess because the format is the same, it still shows this sort of a big illustration and a big circle and a tiny circle on top, which that format is the same on both the front and back of the cards. I guess that's where the confusion comes in. But no confusion in first edition. Nothing to help colorblind players as far as I can tell in the first edition. Second edition has these symbols inside the camel icon. I'm not colorblind, but I would question how useful these symbols are if the symbols aren't also on the literal plastic camels. On the far right, we have a negotiation tile. With a large number of players, you can basically force a partnership with another player in which you both get to score each other's most valuable card at the end of a leg of a race. And these come standard in second edition, and in first edition, which I do show on the left-hand side, they only come with the expansion. Each player gets one of these double-sided tiles which they can place on the track, causing camels to move backwards or forwards 1 space whilst they get a coin for betting that a camel stack will land on that tile. In the originals, they represented that as an oasis and a mirage of an oasis, I suppose, is what that is, or a dried up oasis. I suppose thematically it's a little strange that a player can place an oasis down. So thematically, the second edition's tiles make more sense. You're just adding a crowd of people to cheer and boo. Same effect. Thanks for watching. Older games like Camel Up don't stop being good just because newer games out. Take care.